In our recent journeys, we've explored the fringes of reality, from the simulation paradox to the great silence of the Fermi paradox. While many of you joined the conversation with curiosity, others met these ideas with a shield of skepticism, sometimes even anger. Comments like, "It's fake, go for a walk," or "This sounds paranoid," are more than just words on a screen. They are window panes into the human psyche. Today, we aren't just looking at the stars or the code, we are looking at the human mind. We are exploring the psychology of skepticism and how we can turn that defensive shield into a lens of deeper, more profound understanding.
To understand skepticism, we first have to recognize that our brains are not evolved to find the ultimate truth. They are biological machines evolved for survival. For thousands of years, survival meant consistency and predictability. If you knew where the water was, which berries were poisonous, and what a predator sounded like in the brush, you lived. Our ancestors didn't survive by wondering if the tiger was a digital projection. They survived by reacting to it as a physical reality. When someone introduces an idea like, reality is a simulation, it threatens that ancient internal map. If the ground beneath your feet isn't real in the traditional sense, your brain treats that information like a physical threat. Skepticism, in its rawest form, is a biological immune response. It's the mind trying to protect itself from the paralyzing discomfort of uncertainty. When a skeptic tells you to go for a walk, they are subconsciously trying to reconnect with the sensory world, the only world their survival brain feels safe in. There is also the profound fear of insignificance. We humans have a deep-seated need to feel important. We like to believe we are the protagonists of a grand story. Both the Fermi paradox and the simulation theory strip that away. If the Fermi paradox is true and we are alone, we carry the terrifying weight of being the universe's only spark of consciousness, a lonely candle in an infinite dark. If the simulation paradox is true, we might just be a subroutine in an experiment. Both ideas make us feel small, fragile, and replaceable. By dismissing these theories as paranoid or fake, a person can instantly reclaim their sense of importance and control. It's a defense mechanism. It is far easier to laugh at a complex theory than to sit in the quiet, heavy realization that we might be much smaller than we ever imagined. But let's look closer at the word fake. In our modern age, we are constantly bombarded with AI-generated images, deepfakes, and misinformation. We have been trained to be on guard against deception. However, when we talk about the simulation paradox, we aren't talking about a hoax or a lie. This is the bridge where we can start to turn skepticism into understanding. If we live in a simulation, the simulation is our reality. The code isn't a replacement for atoms. It is simply a deeper description of them. Skeptics often fear that by calling reality a simulation, we are saying their lives, their heartbreaks, and their families don't matter. But the truth is the opposite. Whether the universe is made of vibrating strings of energy, solid particles, or bits of data, the experience of being alive remains identical. The love you feel for your children or the beauty of a sunset isn't debunked by the medium it's written in. Understanding this allows us to move past the defensive label of fake and into the awe-inspiring how of our existence. So, how do we turn this defensive lens into one of exploration? It starts by acknowledging that skepticism is actually a vital part of the scientific process. We should be skeptical. Curiosity without skepticism is just gullibility. But there is a massive difference between cynicism, which is closing the door to keep the cold out, and critical thinking, which is walking through the door to see what's there. Instead of seeing these theories as a reason to be paranoid, we can see them as a reason to be more intensely present. If reality is a rare, complex simulation, doesn't that make every moment a masterpiece of engineering? If the universe is silent and we are the only ones here to appreciate a walk in the park, or the taste of healthy food, doesn't that make those simple acts infinitely more precious? We can bridge the gap by showing that these heavy concepts don't take away from the real world. They add layers of depth to it. Thinking about the Fermi paradox makes our Earth seem more like a fragile, beautiful oasis that we must protect at all costs. Thinking about the simulation paradox makes the complexity of a single blade of grass look like an incredible achievement of logic and beauty. We don't have to choose between a walk in the park and a deep dive into the cosmos. We can do both. In fact, the most real way to live is to feel the grass between your toes while your mind reaches for the stars. To the skeptics who watch these videos and feel the urge to pull away, your voice is necessary. You are the anchor that keeps the ship from drifting too far into the mist. But don't let the anchor keep you from sailing altogether. The goal of Monolith Minds isn't to tell you what to believe or to sell you a fantasy. It's to exercise the human muscle of what if, because the moment we stop asking what if, we stop being explorers and start being residents of a shrinking world. The next time you see a comment calling something fake, remember that it's often just a way of saying, "This scares me," and that's okay. Fear is the beginning of wonder. We can acknowledge the biology that keeps us safe while embracing the curiosity that makes us human. We can eat healthy, walk in the mountains, and still wonder if those mountains are made of code. One does not diminish the other. They coexist in the beautiful, messy, complicated reality of being a conscious observer in this vast, silent, and mysterious universe. Thank you for being part of this journey, the believers, the dreamers, and especially the skeptics. You are the ones who keep the conversation grounded in the very reality we're trying so hard to understand.